This is a Nintendo Switch, and this is too many Nintendo Switch games. Now, obviously, the Nintendo Switch has one of the strongest first-party lineups in any console out there. But one of the things that the Switch also has is third-party games. There's good, there's bad, and there's ugly. And in this series, we go over my top 10 favorite third-party games videos, and this is part number 9. We have started this series back in what, like 2019, and here we are still going strong in 2024. I'm very excited about this because this is a series that I love so much. To me, it's like my little child. I don't know. I love making these videos so much because I love talking about third-party Switch games. I love talking about bad ones. I love talking about good ones. And it's been a while since we've done one of these, and I have another top 10 right here of good Switch games. Good ports, good new games, loads of mixtures of stuff of what we're going to be talking about today. Now, without further ado, sit back and enjoy the top 10 list. Coming in number 10 is one that I am very impressed with how it looks on Switch and how it runs on the Switch, considering how good this game looks. Because when this game got announced and that it was coming to the Nintendo Switch, I was like, no way. There is absolutely no way this game is going to come out, and if it does, it's going to be horrible. It's going to run like crap, or it's just going to get canceled, because we've been seeing that with third-party games recently, that they just flat out cancel the Switch version. And that game is no other than Hboy. Now, Hboy is obviously a comic book. It was originated as a comic book. If you've looked at the comics of this, it has an incredibly unique art style to it. And what this development team did with this game is use that art style and make it into a game, making it like a true comic book video game. So if you're a fan of the comics of this series, you are going to be seeing the exact same art style into this game. And it's also a 3D open roguelike game. This game has been very difficult. It's also been very fun to stream because this has so many unexpected things that you'll see with its enemies. I love the world of this universe because of how the game looks. Everything about this game is stunning. I'm not too big into the roguelike games, and we're going to see a lot of roguelike games in this list, but this is something that I've never experienced before in terms of playing a 3D open roguelike game. You know, the type of things that I see with roguelike games is, at least the common thing, is stuff like Hades, that style where it's like the 2D, I guess is what we would be calling it. I've never seen something like this, and I'm sure it's out there. There's multiple games probably like this with the roguelites. But for me, this was my first time playing something like that, and I have greatly enjoyed this. For a Switch version of the game, this is very good, and definitely one to be on the lookout for. I think it just came out physically on the Switch, so it's going to be an expensive game, but digitally, I think it's like a $40 game. It's probably going to go on sale a lot because it's been out for a little bit, but I am surprised how well this was on the Nintendo Switch, and this is something everyone's going to love if you're a comic book fan. Even if you're not a fan of the roguelike games, I think you'll still have enjoyment of this because it kind of gets you through the opening stages of a roguelike game and lets you understand. I feel like the first couple levels are pretty easy where it starts to gravitate you into playing roguelites. I think this is a great starting game if you haven't played a roguelike game, and especially if you're a comic book fan, you need to play this. And obviously, Ron Perlman is not voicing Hboy, which I know a lot of people are gonna be upset about, but it's still phenomenal. Number 9 is something that I see no one talk about because this game kind of just randomly came out on the Nintendo Switch. And it's a pretty big deal to have this on the Switch. I was surprised that it was not talked about much, and it was one of those releases that came and went. I mean, literally when I found out this game came out on Nintendo Switch, I was surprised that no one talked about it. I never saw an official announcement for this game. When I saw this at a convention, that's actually how I found out that this was on the Switch. I was like, this is fake. There is no way that this is a real Nintendo Switch game. I was very wrong. Coming in number 9 is Samurai Showdown. Now, Samurai Showdown is definitely a fighting game, and I also am kind of surprised this came out on the Switch because, well, the Switch, you know, it's a weaker system, and this game has a lot of power to it, I feel like, And when I played this on the Switch, I had no frame rate drops. Everything was at a locked frame rate. Everything looked good. The resolution looked good. And this comes with so much content. Now, obviously, if you're trying to buy this game physically, this is going to be like a $200 game. So you probably want to stick to the digital side unless you really like the Switch like I do, because I clearly like the Switch with the 500 plus games I have over here, there, over there, and then this new shelf that's going to be coming very soon. You know, it's obviously going to be taking up a lot of my space here, having all these Switch games. So you might want to stick with the digital if you want a cheaper version of this, because it's like a $30 game. And the Switch version has a lot of content. It also has the DLC available for purchase. I believe some of the DLC, if you buy it on the physical side, comes with it a little bit. Not all, but some of it. I know that a lot of the DLCs are pretty expensive for this game. I think the DLC is probably more than the actual game, which is ridiculous that we live in a world where DLC ends up being more expensive than the base release of the game. It's stupid, very stupid that that's happening. The one downside of this is if you're looking for the online player experience, it's dead. I have streamed this, we have tried to play with people, and the whole online community of this game is officially gone. Now, it still has a lot of content if you're a single player guy, and if you like local co-op, because I know a lot of people that buy these games typically have a friend in mind that comes over to the house. This will be a perfect addition to the fighting games on the Nintendo Switch, because I feel like the Switch, you know, it's slowly adding more and more fighting games to the list that are really good games. Samurai Showdown is one that I highly recommend that you pick up for the Switch. Coming in, number 8 is a series that I am still surprised did not come to a Nintendo platform sooner, but the Switch is the first time that it had this, and that game series is no other than the Devil May Cry series. Obviously, the Switch only has 1, 2, and 3, and these are the PlayStation 2 ports. I think number 3 actually is a really good version of the game. I think the best version out there. I might be wrong. Coleman's like the Devil May Cry expert, but I'm pretty sure Devil May Cry 3 is best played on the Switch because they added so much new content with that game, because they made like a special edition of some sorts. I don't know, but we're going to be really talking about the first game here, because the first game is awesome. This is a series that I can definitely see myself enjoying once I continue getting through the other games, because this first game is so cool. It actually reminds me a lot of the games that I grew up playing on my PlayStation 2. Now, I know Devil May Cry is the original thing that started this whole hack and slash beat 'em up. Is hack and slash the correct term? I don't even think that's the correct term of what Devil May Cry is. But this type of game that you're playing, that Devil May Cry is, it reminds me of so many of the stuff that I played on PlayStation 2, one of those things being Ghost Rider. And when I played this on my Switch, I had so much enjoyment because it reminded me of what I was playing. And the best part about this series is, well, it didn't have a physical in America, so digitally it goes on sale pretty frequently, because Capcom loves putting their games on sale. You could probably get the first Devil May Cry right here for like $3 on a Nintendo eShop sale, and that is way perfect. But that's like the best price to play something like this, and this is such a good game. In fact, it's $3. It's crazy. Now, if you're wanting to play the rest of the series after playing the first 3 games, you're gonna have to find a different console, because 4 is, for whatever reason, I'm surprised that actually didn't come to the Switch. But it's not on Switch, and 5 is definitely never coming to the Switch. Maybe the Switch 2 though. Coming in, number 7 is probably one of the best Nintendo Switch games I have ever played. In terms of a local party game, this easily is the best party game out there. If you have friends that come over a lot, this is a game you need to look into getting. Because me and my friends recently just played this when we were at Southeast Game Exchange in a hotel room, and every single one of us was having so much fun. That game being TowerFall. TowerFall is a game that has 2 modes. You have a mode that you can like team up together. You can play up with 6 players, which is pretty crazy. It's pretty cool to have that as an option. It's also got Celeste in it, if you're a Celeste fan. It's actually created by the creator of Celeste. But the point is, there's a mode in this game where you can basically team up with your friends, get through these levels where enemies are coming left and right, which me and my friends honestly didn't play that one much. The one that we played a lot is where we have to defeat each other, like we're literally killing each other each round. Whoever gets 10 kills first is the winner of the round. And the game is so fun because it has so many different maps, so many different items. You're playing with a bow and arrow. The controls are simple. This is an easy game to pick up and play, especially if you have friends that aren't really gamers, don't really know how to play games. This can be played very easily, and this is why it makes a perfect party game. The one downside of TowerFall is that it does not have online multiplayer. My friends actually talked about that if it had online multiplayer, they would have went ahead and bought a copy of this game over the weekend when we were at the convention. So this game is solely just going to be a local game. So if you don't have friends in the local area that come over often, you probably want to stay away from this game. But this game, I'm telling you, is so good. Coming in number 6 is one of my favorite series that I played on the Nintendo Wii, and the fact that it's still going, although it's been a while since we've seen a new entry, because I mean, this game's come out back in 2018, I think? Don't quote me on that. But that game being the Runner 3. The whole Runner series is a phenomenal game. I have always talked about with people, if they're looking for a good game, if you're a fan of the Temple Run style but want an actual challenge, the Runner series is there. And Commander Video is such an iconic character in the indie game scene, I would put them up there with probably Shovel Knight, honestly. I think Shovel Knight is the biggest, iconic, most recognizable indie game character. But in the second place list, you're probably Shantae, and then number 3, think is Commander Video. And this series is so huge out there that even Masahiro Sakurai put Commander Video as a trophy in Super Smash Bros. Wii U and 3DS. That was the first time the indie game characters got recognized. So a lot of people probably got that trophy and was like, huh, I wonder who that is. Well, that trophy comes from the Runner series. The whole Bit Trip series is amazing, and I love Runner 3 so much because, 1, it looks so nice. 2, it has Charles Martinet returning as the narrator, because Charles Martinet, fun fact, is the narrator of 2 and then also 3. And on top of that, Charles Martinet is a playable character in Runner 3. I think Shovel Knight might be a playable character too. I might be wrong about that. Don't quote me on that. But Runner 3 is a phenomenal game that you'll have so much fun with. Single player, this game has phenomenal music. If you're a music guy and love video game soundtracks, you are going to love the Runner series for that. Runner 3 is a great game, and I hope they make Runner 4, but from my understanding, this game did not do well, so Runner 4 is probably never happening, but you need to play Commander Video's games. You need to play one of these games, and Runner 3 is probably the perfect one to get because it's cheap, it's good, it's more with today's times. I think a lot of y'all are going to like it. I mean, the first 2 are great too. Decide which one to play, though. It's great. By the way, weird flex, but look at this. I have a Runner 3 signed copy by Charles Martinet. And guess what, guys? He's never signed one before. When I got this, he was like, I've never signed one of these before. Your boy MONADO Max has the first signed Charles Martinet Runner 3 game. Do you guys have that? No, you don't, because I'm probably the only person that cared about getting this signed. Coming in number 5 is a Metroidvania game that's been highly, highly requested to be in this series, because I asked you guys if I'm missing a game that should be on here, and this is the game that gets brought up a lot. And I'm glad that I finally got the chance to play it and see what the hype was about, because I understand it now. That game being Hollow Knight. Now, Hollow Knight is an interesting series because obviously when you hear Hollow Knight, you probably hear the Silk Song. Silk Song is something that I see in every Nintendo Direct, Indie World presentation, Xbox presentation, all that. I see that talked about all the time. Where is Silk Song? Silk Song, Silk Song. It's been in development for years. I don't know what's going on with it, but that doesn't matter because I haven't beaten Hollow Knight yet, and that needs to be the focus right here. Hollow Knight is a phenomenal game. Its art style is probably why it's so talked about the most in everything in this game, because it's such a beautiful art style. I don't know if I like to make this comparison again since I've already done it once with one of these games, but I'm going to compare it to if Pixar made a video game that was actually good, because the art style kind of reminds me of a Pixar animation. And I made that comparison with Ori and the Blind Forest, which that I think is still more of a Pixar game than what Hollow Knight is. But Hollow Knight, I've enjoyed learning the world of these characters, seeing these characters, learning the dialogue that's being shown on here. I also really like the music and combat. I'm a fan of the combat because when I streamed this game, there was some frustrating moments, but when I beat the boss, I was like, yeah, let's go, ah! Like, it felt like a true moment of where I was like, oh, all this hard work, it's actually paying off. It makes you actually feel like you're doing something good when you beat the boss. And I feel like in today's gaming, you don't see that very often now. Hollow Knight's a great challenge and an affordable challenge that you'll see out there in the wild, probably about 20 to 30 bucks, and it goes on sale pretty frequently too, digitally. So really just depends how you prefer collecting physical or digital. This is a game that I highly recommend and is number 5 on the list. Now you guys in the comments can shut up about where Hollow Knight is on this tier list of games. Coming in number 4 is going to be a game that I never expected to be this good when I bought it. When I saw it, I was like, oh, it's got a unique cover. I'm probably gonna enjoy this. I didn't think I was gonna enjoy it this much enough where it would be on this list, and let alone my stream enjoying it so much to where a lot of my streaming audience actually went ahead and bought this game after that stream. And when I played this game, it reminded me so much of my childhood on the stuff that I played on the PlayStation 2. That game being Ruiner. Ruiner reminds me of a roguelike game with the style of the Ultimate Alliance series. If y'all have seen how the Ultimate Alliance games are with its gameplay style, you'll know what I'm talking about here and probably automatically see the comparisons that I'm making here. You're set in a world somewhere in Japan, I believe, from what it was sounding like for the storyline, and the art style here throughout the whole game, from cutscenes to the actual levels, is amazing. The lighting of this game is also brilliant. It makes everything perfect here. The combat's awesome. You have slow motion modes. You have so much going on at once at this game, which is why I love this so much and truly feels like an original game that I haven't really seen in a while. I really like this game and is something you guys should definitely be on the lookout for, especially if you love the Ultimate Alliance games, because I know we don't get those very often. Now, if you're a fan of the X-Men Legends games, that's actually the exact same play style of the Ultimate Alliance games. So if you see that and you're like, oh, you definitely pick up Ruiner. This is very fun, and I'm quite frankly very surprised, as I don't know, I don't see anybody talk about Ruiner. I don't know, it's just, I never even realized Devolver made it, to be honest. This is the one Devolver game I have never heard of, and I'm glad I picked it up a few months ago because it is easily one of my favorite Nintendo Switch games out there now. Coming in number 3 is something that I am very surprised runs well on the Nintendo Switch, just due to the fact of the history of this game and how the studio shut down at first and then it got bought back and then a different studio worked on it. I was just like, the Switch version is not gonna have the care that it needs to have like a good Switch game out there. But I was very much wrong. Coming in number 3 is The Walking Dead final season. Now, I want to take this moment to talk about the whole series of The Walking Dead, because that whole series is on the Nintendo Switch and those games are wonderful. For whatever reason, and this doesn't make sense to me, the final season's the only one with a physical copy out there. However, the Walking Dead games go on sale very frequently. If you have never experienced these games, you need to experience them, because every episode of this game is amazing. You make your own choices. I know that's a debatable thing right there, but that's the main focus of the game, is making your choices in a zombie apocalypse world, which in this world it was The Walking Dead that they chose. I'm still amazed about what I'm playing, because this game graphically looks really good for the Switch. I don't really notice a difference between the other versions. Now, the only thing that I can say that I notice a difference are the backgrounds of this. If you see the backgrounds, you'll notice that it definitely got affected by the Switch in terms of lowering the resolution, lowering the backgrounds, making it look like, you know, it's like a Switch port. You can notice that through the backgrounds of this game. But other than that, it runs really good, which I'm, again, surprised by that, because I just didn't think it was possible for this game to look good and run good on the Switch, since Telltale Games at the time went out of business. So I was like, there's no way that they put good money into the Switch version. I was very much wrong, and this is a game that you should definitely play, and definitely the series you guys should play, because The Walking Dead is incredible. I love the show, I love the games, I love the comics, I love everything The Walking Dead. It's my secret love. Y'all don't know how much I love The Walking Dead. I don't talk about it, but I love the series so much. So the fact that it's on the Switch means a lot to me because it's like my two favorite things on my thing right here, the Nintendo Switch. Coming in number 2 is another Nintendo Switch game that I wasn't sure if I was gonna really like or not. I think the reviews for this game have not been positive, but I don't see how. This game is incredible. The music is awesome. The levels are awesome. This really felt like an incredible game that I was playing here. Coming in number 2 is Slave Zero X. This is a 2.5D game that's basically a run and slash. The sprites of these characters look great. The levels are incredible. I love what I'm doing with the combat. There's so many different combos you can do with the game, trying to get the best combo, best hits. It's been incredible to play this game and figure out the rating that I would get in each level, because there's times that I'm like, oh, I did incredible this level. I'm gonna get like the best letter possible, and then I end up getting a D on there. And I was like, what? How is this even possible? Either way, this is a game that's going to definitely surprise you in ways that you're never going to expect from the storyline, because the story really surprised me, especially from the opening of that game. I just was not expecting that, to be honest. I know this is a series that's on the Dreamcast, I believe, and I don't really know too much about the Dreamcast. That would be a good thing for my brother Tynology to figure out, and he probably knows more about that. If you guys are looking for Dreamcast videos, that's the guy to go to. But he's probably heard of this game. It's on the Dreamcast, I think. This is like a continuation to that series, or it's set in the world. I don't know 100% about it, but either way, when it comes to this game, this is an incredible game. I feel like the reviews just did not do this game justice. I was surprised when I played this though. I didn't, it's another thing where I was like, I think this is gonna be a good game, but not really good. When I streamed this, everyone in my comments was the same thing. They were like, wow, this game is awesome. I'm ordering it right away. Definitely pick up this game. Okay, coming in number 1, another game that all of y'all have been saying should be on this series, and I finally took the opportunity to play this game. Coming in number 1 is Colt of the Lamb. Can I just say that this is the perfect streaming game? I mean, even the developers of this know this because they have a streamer mode on here for this game. When I played this game, I didn't really know what to expect. I thought it was going to be Animal Crossing, but with demons or something like that, but I was definitely a little bit wrong, because the combination of this game is basically Animal Crossing meets a roguelike game. And this game has amazing combat, amazing music. I love being able to save people, make them join the cult, all that type of stuff, because the dialogue in there can be very funny. And especially being able to stream this in front of an audience has been very fun. This is one of those games that I don't think a lot of y'all will enjoy it unless you're playing with the right crowd. And I don't know if I would enjoy it if I was playing it by myself, to be honest. I think I enjoyed this game so much from a streaming perspective. I think it's two different things, if that makes sense. I think you'll have to really pay attention to see what type of games you've played. If you love Animal Crossing, you'll love this game. If you love roguelike games, I don't know if I would say I could recommend this if you only like roguelike games, because it's a mix between those two worlds right there. And at times you're doing Animal Crossing stuff, and at times you're doing roguelike stuff. I would say it's a good 50-50 between. So if you like that idea of a crossover, definitely look into getting Colt of the Lamb. I love this game. It's really good. I need to take the time to play it without streaming, but I feel like now that I've done so much in this game on stream, it's something that I always have to play on stream, you know, but I don't know. I don't know if I would have had the same enjoyment if I wasn't streaming with this game, if you want me to be honest. Guys, that is my top 10 list of the third-party Switch games you should buy. This is part number 9, which means the next part in this series is going to be the series finale. I've always wanted to do this series, see if I can make it to where I've reviewed 100 third-party Switch games, and we're at the point where I can say that we are close to doing that. And I feel like part 10 is the best place to end, because obviously the Switch 2 is coming out next year. I don't want to end with like 120 games reviewed. I think 100 is the perfect number. I already have probably over half of that list done, But I do want to ask you guys one final time, what should be on the final part of this series? What is something we have not talked about into this series that deserves to be in this series? Let me know what you guys are thinking in the comments down below. Make sure to backslash that subscribe button, like the video, check out my Twitter, Instagram, Discord server, and all that good stuff in the description below. And make sure to become a Monado Marine for $5 a month. We just added new emojis. We uploaded the Southeast Game Exchange panel for Marines. Y'all are gonna love it, I'm just saying. $5 a month, you get some incredible benefits out of it. Guys, I will see y'all in the next video. Peace. I can finally turn the air on now that I'm done recording.